If you're hurt, injured, don't waste time. Gary Johnson cries for every dime.
Welcome to Simply the Law, a program created by attorney Gary C. Johnson. Simply the Law provides free legal advice and encourages happiness and quality of life. Now, here's Simply the Law with Gary C. Johnson. Hello, everyone. Welcome into Simply the Law. I'm Keith Casebolt. My, how a week goes by so quick. Hello, my dear friend, Gary C. Johnson, the host of your program.
Hey, guys and gals, how you doing? You doing okay, right? No criticizing, condemning, and complaining? No big fights or anything like that? The criticizing, condemning, and complaining we got from the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie, remember? I think everyone should go together, get us a big pot of money, and send everybody in Washington a copy of that book.
Because they're doing just the opposite.
They're doing just the opposite. Every time you turn it on, they're criticizing, condemning, and complaining.
And creating
enemies. My friends, you know better, right? You know that doesn't do any good. All it does is just make people mad. It just gets worse and worse and worse. So, been thinking about it. You think they'd read it if we sent it to them? Nah. It wouldn't do them any good, would it? Just a thought.
Listen, I'm glad you mentioned Dale Carnegie because I was going to tell you this. I used it over the weekend. I had an individual say, "What do you think about this project? What should I do?" And I said, "What do you think you should do?" And they told me, "I think it ought to look like this." And I said, "That's exactly what I was thinking." But that was Dale Carnegie. That book, to me, is one of the most valuable things you've ever given me.
Well, the thing about it is a book that will help you stop being miserable because it makes you think outside of yourself. It's really got the wrong name. How to Win Friends and Influence People is a bad name for that book. It should be How to Become a Better Human Being, is how I think. It might not have sold as many copies.
You know, Gary, the miracle of the book, this book was written in the 30s and the 40s?
30s.
In the 30s. So the book was written in the 30s. Here it is, 2019. And to me, the book is more needed today than it was then.
Well, if you get a chance to run across that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, I strongly recommend you get your hands a hold of it. Now, my friends, if any of you are watching and you can't afford it, email me at gary@garycjohnson.com. I will find a copy and send it to you because it is that important. I'll say that again, gary@garycjohnson.com. If you can't afford to get your own copy, I'll get you one.
How many, Gary, let me ask you, because you gave me my first copy 20 years ago. How many books have you given away?
I've given thousands of those books away.
And the one thing that you told me when you gave me the book, you said, "Keith, the people who need the book probably won't read it, but the people who don't need the book will take it and read it through time and time again. They'll highlight it, and they'll use it the rest of their lives."
And that's true. It's just got so much common sense in it about one of the things is the only way to win an argument is don't argue. Because even if you think you won it, you've made that other person so mad at you that they'll get you someday anyhow. It basically says there's no such thing as a small enemy. There's not. It's got all kinds of wisdom in it that you need to think in terms of the other person rather than yourself. And if you think in terms of the other person, you will get along a whole lot better than you will if it's so I. And boy, we want to do I, don't we? Ooh, it's so hard to keep from doing it. I did this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Instead of paying attention to how wonderful and extraordinary that other unique human being is that you're dealing with.
And is this where you got the unsolicited advice?
No.
No?
That's you.
But it falls into criticism.
Yeah, this is an original Gary. This unsolicited advice is a camouflaged criticism. That's me. I come up with that.
Now, what I like about this, I want everybody at home to think about this. How many times have you had somebody come up to you and say, "Oh, I like your new car, but you know what I would have done? I would have bought the other color." Or if you were building a house, they come up to you and say, "Yeah, if it were me, I would have bricked that fireplace instead of rock." Or if you take a job or if you go on vacation, why'd you go to Daytona? Don't you know the Gulf Coast is much better? So I think all of us can now understand what unsolicited advice is and why it turns out to be criticism.
And it is criticism. So learn to keep your mouth shut. And if the other person has already done something, brag on it. Don't criticize it. And don't say, "I would have." Okay? I would have. Oh, yes, I want to show how smart I am. I'm going to tell them I would have done this different. And I'm going to make them so mad at me, they'll never want to speak to me again by showing my you-know-what.
And Gary, we do it over the simplest things. I was at lunch the other day, and my friend ordered grilled salmon, and I said, "Oof, who could eat that?" Why didn't you get a hamburger? I mean, here's something so simple as just having lunch. You know, we have to give unsolicited advice.
Test, my friends, is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. Go the entire next week and don't give anyone unsolicited advice, except your children. Children's always an exception. You have to give them unsolicited advice all the time. But I'm talking about other than your children. And as I've said many times on this show, no one in life can make you miserable without your permission, except your children.
You know, what gets me about this unsolicited advice, I don't think we truly mean to be criticizing the individual. I don't even think we know that we're criticizing the individual.
Nope. It's camouflaged. It's camouflaged so well that it's even camouflaged against the people that are doing it.
So we walk away with saying, "Boy, I'm so glad I helped Ronnie over here. I told him what was wrong with how he was building his house or something." So instead, we think we've done something good. In reality, all we did was criticize their decisions.
Now, if someone asks you your opinion, feel free to give it. No question about it. But until they ask you your opinion, keep your mouth shut. And generally, when they ask your opinion, your best answer to that is say, "What do you think?" And then when they say what they think, you say, "Okay, that's great, you're right."
Just what I was thinking.
Just exactly what I would recommend.
Absolutely.
So you got, and again, it's just teaching you to get along with human beings, be easier to get through life, and to be happy. After all, that's all that matters, is trying to figure out how to be happy, right?
Gary,
That's the advice I'm trying to give you. Unsolicited, by the way.
The other thing is, I want to tell our friends, because of this, you and I the other day at the radio program, we sat there and had coffee and laughed for about an hour about human nature. And we just sat there and said, isn't it amazing how it is on human nature and how hard it is to control these things?
And if you'll remember, Keith, 99.9% of it, we was laughing at ourselves.
Well, because there's not a rule that Gary's put out here that I haven't broken. I tell everybody, this is not a television program. This is my therapy once a week, because I come in and I've broken all the rules. When Gary says at the beginning of the program, "All right, who criticized, condemned, or complained?" I'm always over here with my hand up. It's hard not to do.
Once you understand you're doing it, you're on your way to trying to correct it. That's the thing. Let's take a break and we'll come right back.
And the great thing is, if you get to the point where you can catch it, whew, boy, you're at the top of the game already. Stay with us. Simply the Law with Gary C. Johnson right after this.
In 2015, a company called Juul Labs launched a marketing campaign to target smokers, non-smokers, and your children. The Juul e-cigarette was supposed to be a replacement for tobacco and be safe. Instead, it has become an epidemic, even causing death. Juul created a sleek, high-tech way of delivering the highest dosage of nicotine possible. And who owns Juul? Big Tobacco. To find out your rights, go to GaryCJohnson.com or call Pound Hurt.
Welcome back into Simply the Law. Now, if you were with us on that beginning segment, I got so happy when I finally got to the point to where I would catch myself messing up that I ran and told Gary, hey, look, I caught myself doing this and I caught myself doing that. And Gary said, don't get too happy. You can't dance. All you did was learn one step. So I'm still trying to learn the second step.
It's the truth.
It's
the way it is. It's hard. It is so hard to not criticize, condemn, and complain. It is so hard to not assume things. Imagine slights. Terrible. I suspect, in fact, there's no doubt in my mind that somebody is watching this program right now that's feeling a little bit angry at someone because of a slight that the other person may not even know they did, or they didn't intend it if they did do it. It's called imagine slights. It's assuming. There's some of you that are feeling probably a little mad at somebody because you're taking something personal. It's not personal, you just happen to be the one that's there. So don't take it personal. It's life, right? And there's many of my friends, maybe every one of you, including me and Keith, that's probably this past week we've not been impeccable with a word.
Well, if we talked, if we were verbal at all, more than likely.
If we hadn't found anybody to listen.
More than likely, we weren't impeccable with the word. You don't even know you're doing it. It falls into the sake of conversation.
And there's not a doubt in my mind that at least one of my friends out there is right now feeling put down or unworthy because you're judging what you can do based on what you've seen someone else do, instead of basing your judgment of yourself on what you can do. And if the good Lord had wanted you to be doing what that other person's doing, He would have made you that way. Okay?
You know,
So don't put yourself down. He made you the way He wanted you to be.
Gary, I had a friend the other day that said, why didn't you ever do this? Or why didn't you ever do that? I said, I can answer that for you. I wasn't that smart. And they said, no, really? I said, no, I'm being serious. I mean, I'm okay with it. But people, it's okay to be who you are, like you said.
I was talking to Anita the other day. We were trying to walk. And I said, how many times in our lives have we said, I could have done that if I had tried? Or I'd be this if I'd tried. And believe it.
Absolutely.
When the security blanket is not trying. So you can later say, I would have, or I could have, or I would have been if I had tried, or if I had wanted to. So if any of you are saying that right now, go try it and see what happens. You'll be amazed at what you can do. And more likely than not, you would have done those things had you tried. And it's a shame you didn't. That's the point I'm making. Yes, you can. If you can see it here, you can do it. So go do it. It's okay. But don't use the excuse, if I had tried, I would have, or I could have, whatever.
Or, Gary, is the other excuse, if so-and-so would just have allowed me, or if circumstances had been different, or if this person had promoted me. I mean, we go through all of them, don't we?
Well, and where I'm headed with this is, you're talking about do the best you can do. And it doesn't matter whether or not you could have done those things or not done them. What matters is, did you do what you can do? And don't look for excuses to not do what you can do. And I promise you, you will be so happy and have so much self-gratification if you concentrate on doing what you can do. Not what someone else can do or not do, but what you can do. And it will be plenty. The good Lord gave you whatever you need to be plenty. Just be you, do what you can do, and you will feel so happy and have so much self-gratification. That's the point I'm trying to make to my friends.
And Gary, there's nothing wrong that if you tried and it didn't happen and you didn't make it, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I gave it my best shot, it just didn't work.
That's right. I'm going to move on to something else I may be better at. If you've not had a failure, you've not tried.
Amen to that.
And that's a fact. Failure is a part of life. Failure is how you learn. Failure is how you get experience. There's nothing wrong with failure. There's something wrong with not trying and finding excuses to not try. My friends, I don't think you should do that. But if you go fail, so what? No big deal. Move on. Nobody's going to cut you up and put you in little chunks and put you in a pot and boil you and eat you. And other than that, why worry about it, right? Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Oh, I love that analogy, and I love to use it when I have friends that are really troubled, and I say, oh, are they going to cut you up and put you in a pot and eat you? And they're like, where'd you get that from? That's a Gary Johnson original. Stay with us. More Simply the Law with Gary C. Johnson after this break. Eastern Kentucky, southern West Virginia, and southwest Virginia. It can be a tough territory to reach when it comes to marketing. We can help. We can also help you find your identification. And we have plenty of services to do it and a lot of experience behind us, over 37 years. In fact, we've either booked or sold nearly $70 million in advertising in this region. You need a new voice, a new idea, a new concept? Casebolt Marketing. We're ready to go to work for you today. Our motto is nothing happens until you make it happen. So let's get started today. Welcome back in to Simply the Law. I love the way we ended that break because the first time you told me that, I had a problem I was talking to you about, and I was like, what in the world is Gary thinking? Cut you up, put you in a pot, and eat you? But you said if that's the case, you really got problems. So I have used that time and time again, and really what you're doing, Gary, is you're putting things in perspective. How important really is this?
Let me put one more thing in perspective for you. If you're watching this program, you're living better than the kings and the pharaohs and the princesses that all came before us. Every one of them. You're living better right now if you've got a television and you can watch this program. Think about that. Now, if we come a long way, yep. Have we got a good country? Yep. Should we be happy? Most definitely. Now look around, be appreciative of where you are and what you've got. Be appreciative of who's with you. Snuggle up a little bit to them right quick. Tell them how much you care about them. Be thankful. When you see a sunrise, be thankful. When you see a sunset, be thankful. In other words, my friends, this life is so wonderful and there's so much joy to be had from it that we get lost in all of this other stuff that we forget about what's important and how we feel, our state of mind, how we look at the people around us will define who we are as a human being. So be grateful, be thankful, and anytime someone waits on you or does anything, thank them and be grateful for the fact they're doing it. Because if they weren't doing it, you wouldn't have the service. You said, well, but that's their job. Yes, it's their job, but how many people won't work? How many people don't have jobs? How many people could choose to maybe do something else? But they chose to work at that job to take care of the things you needed. A simple thank you would never hurt, right?
Yeah.
And if you're one of those folks doing those type of service jobs, thank you from the bottom of my heart because I truly appreciate it.
You know, what I love about what you're saying is if we can take this attitude, we'll gain friends because people will want to be around you. They will want some of the happiness that you're feeling. They'll want it to rub off.
If you take this attitude that I'm talking about on this program, you will be happy. Now, is that other person out there happy? Maybe, maybe not. It's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to treasure the fact you're alive, to treasure the fact you're unique, to treasure the fact that you can breathe and you can see, and be happy and rejoice, literally rejoice in the fact that you're alive. Instead of, oh, woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. Get over it. Quit the woes and say, hoo-wee, this is me. I'm good. This is okay.
Well, Gary calls it the Food City test. If you're walking down the aisle and you see somebody, do they smile and come toward you, or do they cut down the other aisle? If they go down the other aisle, you know you're not doing the things that
Something you're not doing well. Let's take our last break and we'll come right back.
Oh my goodness, I got to tell you, human nature and life is fun, and it can be a whole lot more fun if you do the things that Gary's saying. Stay with us. Simply the Law with Gary C. Johnson after you see this.
In 2015, a company called Judo Labs launched a marketing campaign to target smokers, non-smokers, and your children. The Juul e-cigarette was supposed to be a replacement for tobacco and be safe. Instead, it has become an epidemic, even causing death. Juul created a sleek, high-tech way of delivering the highest dosage of nicotine possible. And who owns Juul? Big Tobacco. To find out your rights, go to GaryCJohnson.com or call Pound Hurt.
Welcome back in to Simply the Law. You know, our weekly visits, even though it's 30 minutes, seems like they go by so fast.
They do, don't they? I'll talk to you folks about something that I noticed. The rain is back. We've had some rain. And I was riding with a fellow when it started, and I looked over at him and I said, this is dangerous. There will be people that will not adjust their driving for the fact that that road has been hot over time, and that when this water hits it, it's going to get slick, it's going to puddle, and it's going to be dangerous, and I'll bet you that folks will not adjust their driving toward it. We go down the road and there's a water puddle. Slow down and go through it. Go down the road, do our little bit of business we were doing, turn around and come back, and there's a car on its top in that water. And this was just when it first started raining, because that person had not adjusted their driving to the changing conditions. Now winter's coming on. It's just around the corner. We're going to have snow, we're going to have ice. The speed limit on the road may be 55, but that's the limit that's set based upon a good, nice, dry road, that it's safe to travel 55 miles an hour. The real speed limit that you have on that same highway will be the safe speed you can drive under the conditions of the roadway at the time. That's the real speed limit. So just because you think you're going 55 doesn't mean that you won't be responsible if you harm someone because you were going too fast for the conditions. It's not a defense. So I really wanted to talk to my friends about this. Please, adjust your driving for the conditions of the roadway that are getting ready to change. And they're changing. I've already seen one incident of it. I predicted it would happen, and within 10 minutes, it happened.
Gary, let me ask you, we have a lot of construction going on right now on the Mountain Parkway, and we have so many people going back and forth to the UK games and Lexington and everything like that. Seems like to me, where the fresh blacktop is being laid, when the rain hits it, it's even slicker than the normal roads. Mm-hmm. And that area there in Salyersville and down the Mountain Parkway, very dangerous right now.
I don't know if any of you know what a bald eagle tire is.
Yeah.
I knew them when I was growing up, and some of you that's a little older know what I'm talking about. Your tires on your car, please check them and make sure you have adequate tread on that tire for the conditions that you're going to be driving in. Maybe you could go, if you have some really bad tires, maybe you can go down to the tire shop and ask them if they got some better ones they can sell you, maybe not new. But the only thing between your life is that little old thin piece of rubber on those tires. And be careful, if you can afford it, make sure you keep good, solid tires on your car. Most people don't even look at their tires. I don't know at the times I've seen some of my friends roll up and I look down their tires and I look at them and I say, you need to change these.
No tread.
Huh?
Yeah, all the tread's going on.
Yeah, it's because once you are in the wreck and you get seriously injured, you can't take it back. There's no do-over. So safety, 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 safety. Be careful. Try to keep good tires on your car, if you can. Have your underinsurance in case some other fool runs over you. And try to be safe, my friends, because it's important. Winter's coming on, the rain's back. Danger, danger, danger. There should be red flags go up after this happened. And maybe if there had been some red flags up, that person wouldn't have ended up actually rolled a car on its top in the same water I just gone through because we adjusted our speed. And someone said to me the other day, well, I wrecked and it's not my fault. I said, what happened? They said, well, I hydroplaned. Duh. Whose fault is it then? You hydroplaned, it's your fault, because that means you didn't slow down for the conditions on the roadway that would allow you to get through that water safely. Hydroplaning is not a defense, period. You are responsible. To be careful, you are responsible for your own safety. And guess what? If you tore all to pieces and been in a wreck, you're not going to be very happy.
You know, I was just sitting there thinking, you did the whole first part of this show trying to tell all of us that if you don't have any problems, you need to be happy, you need to do all these things. But you ended the show with, if you don't obey these rules, you're going to have a reason not to be happy.
And it's going to happen. So, my friends, don't let me see you turned over on the road, okay? Have a safe week, my friends, please.
And then maybe you can do all the things we talked about at the front and be happy.
That's right.
My friend, thank you so much for the program. As always, Gary and I love to see you out, and if you tell us you watch the show or you listen to the radio show, it really pleases both of us. It means a lot for you to take this time to watch Simply the Law. So on behalf of Gary C. Johnson, I'm Keith Casebolt. Thanks for tuning in. Gary and I look forward to seeing you again next week, right here at this same time.
Thank you for watching Simply the Law, a program created by Gary C. Johnson. Until next week, may you be safe, blessed, and happy.